Hey guys, welcome to my living room. Bit of a strange one. I'm doing a little bit of a video. I thought I'd share a bit of a story, really. I've been really thinking lately about my faith and the journey that God's taken me on over the past few years. And a lot of time, been spending a lot of time with Him, and I feel like He's speaking to me to be more vocal about my faith and to start talking about it and to start sharing it. And I did a video with my church the other day online on the young adults page, and it just got me thinking about ways that I can speak about my faith and share about Jesus in a new way, and a stretch for me. So I'm starting. This is it. This is my first video. This is something that I'm going to do. This is something that I'm hoping to continue to do. And I'm going to share it on my own Instagram page, and feel free to watch it. I mean, I know that a lot of people that I'm friends with and stuff like that aren't Christians, and I don't expect people to watch this stuff if they don't believe, but I really just want to open up my heart and share from my heart and be really honest and really vulnerable and really, really real with people. I think it's been heightened lately because there's so much going on in the world right now, and there's so many questions that people are asking, and no one has any answers. Like, we don't know when we're coming out of this lockdown. There's a lot of hope now because of the vaccine, and we're looking forward and hoping that this year's going to be better. But it's been a really, really challenging time for a lot of people. It's been challenging for myself. It's been challenging for people that I know. We've all not seen family. We've all not seen friends. And I know people that have actually lost people because of COVID, and it's just been crazy. So I've been really wanting to share some hope and to share some joy and to share some of my story. And the goal of this really is not to preach at people. It's not to tell people to believe something different. It's just really to share my heart, to share my story, and hopefully I can encourage or inspire or give someone the lift that they need in their own faith. Maybe you don't even know who God is. Maybe you don't know who Jesus is, and I feel like my stories could maybe help someone. And I just want to open up. Social media is so, we put on a front. We put on this, like, this is who I look. I do it. This is me. This is my life. It's so good. But life isn't always like that, and we all have a story, and we all have something that we can share, and all of our stories are powerful, and I want to share mine. So here we go. I've not always been a Christian. I grew up. My mum was a Christian when I was younger. She became a Christian when I was really young, and I remember it being really significant, actually. But I've not always been a Christian. She used to take me to church, and I absolutely hated it. I couldn't stand going. All through primary school, I remember, up until the age of about 11, she would drag me along, and I just didn't want to go. I used to play a lot of golf, so all I wanted to do was be out on the golf course and spending some of my time out there. I wanted to turn professional, and I had a real desire to do that, but she used to drag me along anyway, and I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I just didn't want to be there. I just wanted to have fun like any little kid would want to. So when I went to secondary school, she gave me a choice, and she said, if I don't want to go anymore, that's absolutely fine. I don't have to. And I decided that I didn't want to, and I completely walked away from any sort of faith. I didn't really have a faith to begin with. It was just, just something that we did because my mum was a Christian. Going into secondary school, I had quite a difficult experience at school. It was quite challenging. I didn't really enjoy school. I hated going in. But fast forward till about sixth form, and I really started to get some friends that I thought were really good. Like, I was hanging out with people, I was going to the pub, I was going to do all this stuff that was really new. But it also came with a lot of other stuff. I started to do drugs, I started to drink, I started to party in different ways. I'd spend a lot of my time on weekends in nightclubs, and just getting absolutely wasted pretty much every week. And for a while it was fun, you know, for a good few years it was really fun. I used to love it, going to the clubs with my mates and going to raves and doing all that stuff. But after a while it got to a point which I did not enjoy it at all. I really started to, you know, it was like I couldn't be happy unless I was high, unless I was, you know, every weekend or even during the week I'd want to just get lost in all that stuff, because I just wasn't enjoying my life. I had no purpose, I had no point really, and I didn't see where I was going with it. And when I was about 19 or 20, my mum invited me to go to this talk. This man was coming to my hometown. Well, he was coming to Harlow, which was close to my hometown. And he was coming to share his story. And his story was like, he got stung by a box jellyfish. And he died. He was in South Africa. And he died. And he came back to life after dead. Like, the doctors actually pronounced him like dead. And he came back to life in the morgue. And I was like, flip, that sounds crazy. Like, what on earth? And my mum was like, you should come and hear about it. And I was like, what? Why would I, like... But she started telling me about it, and I thought that sounds interesting. And we went along. I decided to go with her. And this was when I was about 19. So it was right in the middle of drugs, drinking, partying, all that stuff. And when I went to the thing, this man started talking about Jesus. He started talking about what Jesus did on the cross. And obviously growing up, like, we all hear about Jesus, but I think he can become like this like figure, or this like, you know, he's more of a swear word than anyone actually giving him any credit. And I didn't really understand who he was. Like, I didn't really understand what the cross, like, all I really knew was that he died on a cross, but what that meant for me, like, how on earth does this man dying on a cross impact me? So I didn't really know what to think about it. But when I went and heard this guy's story, everything he said was so powerful. Like, it was so weird, because his life was so similar to mine. He had a mum that was a Christian, and he didn't believe, really, similar to me. He got involved in drugs and drinking and all this stuff, and similar to me. And I was just like, wow, this is so crazy. And he spoke about Jesus in a way that I'd never heard, and how that Jesus came to set me free, to give me a new life, not a life that's bound by drugs or bound by anything, but a freedom and a hope and a joy. And I was like, wow, this sounds incredible. The story progressed, and without getting too much into it, at the end he invited people down to the front, and I didn't have a clue what was going on. But he said, if you want to give your life to Jesus, if you want to start this journey, come down to the front. I don't know what was in me, but I was the first person down there. Like, I ran down to the front. I literally ran. And I remember, it was a really long time ago. I'm talking like 9 years ago now. But I ran down to the front and collapsed on my knees, and I just started crying. I started bawling it, and I'd never cried. Like, I didn't cry often. And I just remember this. He was praying for me, and some stuff was happening. I can't really remember exactly what, but I remember getting up off my knees, and it was like I was taking the first breath I've ever taken. It was such a surreal experience, and all the colours in the room, like, came to life. Like, it was like red became really red, and like, it was such a surreal experience. But after that, I was like, what on earth just happened to me? Like, I did not understand it. And I remember going to the pub the next night, and a few of my friends were in the pub. And I told them that I might start going to church, because that's all I knew. I was like, wow, this experience was really real. I might start going to church, find out what this is all about. And they all really laughed at me, and I was like, oh no, what have I done? And I remember, like, they said, "Don't, Jack, you're such an idiot. Like, why would you want to do that? There's no God. And I just thought, man, I don't want to lose any of my friends. Like, it's taken me so long to really be socially almost in with people, that I didn't want to lose that. And I remember then literally the next night, I went to a nightclub near my hometown, and I had a few drinks, and I was trying to, like, wrap my head around what was going on. and this guy, out of the blue, just came up to me and just grabbed me by the shoulders. And he wasn't really a friend. I knew him, but he was just someone, I don't know, just this guy. And he pushed me up against the wall. And he pointed me in the face and he was like, "Jack, say there's not a God." Like, proper aggressively as well. And I was like, whoa, flipping heck, right. Whatever, fine, there's not a God. I just didn't want everyone to think I was this weird guy. Like, I was so scared of what people thought about me. I literally didn't want to do it. And after that moment, I just completely turned away from it. I completely turned away from that experience. And I decided that there wasn't a God. I was like, no, that whatever happened, it wasn't real. I was just making it up. It was just an illusion. You know, I'm telling myself all this stuff. And I completely turned away from it. But after that point, I really started getting bad on like drugs and drinking and partying, to the point where like on a Tuesday night I was doing cocaine, or like it was just bad period of life. And it was like I was trying to feel something inside me that I could not feel. No matter what I was doing, nothing could fill it. Nothing could satisfy me. It was just awful. And the more that I tried, the worse it got. And I remember getting to the point in my I was at university in the third year of my uni where I just couldn't handle it anymore. I literally couldn't. And I decided that I just wanted to go away. Just get away. And I didn't really tell any of my friends. I really kept this stuff hidden from everyone, family, friends. I didn't tell anyone. I was really struggling, and I went to decided to go to Canada as part of my uni course. I just went on my own. Like, I literally got to that place where I was like, I just need to get away. And just before I went to Canada, I can't remember exactly how long before, but it was quite soon before. I was lying in my bed one night, and I used to really struggle with I was just really low and anxious, and I couldn't sleep. And I remember one night I was lying in my bed, and I wasn't high. I hadn't done any drugs. I was just lying there. I couldn't sleep, and I heard a voice speak to me, and it was the craziest voice I've ever heard. I can't even put it into words, but it said, at the time I didn't understand, but it said, "Jack." And I shot up out of bed. I was lying down, what the? And I swore. I was like, what? And I couldn't believe it. And then I waited, and then it said, "You're a diamond in the rough, and I love you." And I was like, what the hell is that? Like, a diamond in the rough? I have no idea what that means. Didn't have a clue. And I remember getting my phone up, and I was like, I typed in what a diamond in the rough meant. And it means someone or something who's got the potential to be this diamond, but they're in the middle of this crap. And before a diamond becomes a diamond, it's actually a lump of coal. And when a diamond does become a diamond, eventually it has to go through this process of being refined. And it goes through the hottest temperatures. And I was like, flipping heck, I have no idea what this means, but it's just weird. And it started this question into me. I was like, what was that voice? What was that? And in my head, I was like, maybe it's God. And I was like, no, don't want that, don't need that, nope. Because I didn't want to be a weirdo. And now here I am, sharing on Instagram. How funny is that? But yeah, where was I? Yeah, I went to Canada. And I was like, right, not going to do drugs, not going to drink, not going to party, just going to detox. I'll detox. And then in the first 2 weeks of being there, I spent over $500 on partying and drinking. I was like, what on earth? And I could not believe I hit the lowest point of my life. I was there on my own. I had no family, no friends, nothing. And I was just broken. That was it. I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was really struggling with my identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing. Man, crazy. And I remember we went on a trip, literally after I'd been in Canada for about a month. And we went for a trip to the Rocky Mountains. And when we went to the Rocky Mountains, it was incredible. Like, I'd never really seen mountains before. I'd never really seen anything like that, and just seeing the mountains was amazing. And I remember we went to this one place, and there was this massive mountain, and all I can remember is the silence. Like, I don't know if you've been skiing before. I don't know if you've been in those places where it's just wilderness, and the silence is incredible. And I remember sitting on this rock and looking at this mountain with this echoey silence. It was amazing. You can almost like just hear the wind. It's so cool. And I remember hearing that voice again, the same one that spoke to me in my bedroom. It was exactly the same voice. And it said, "Jack." And I was like, well, oh man, I can feel it now. If I can do this, imagine what I can do with your life. And I was like, whoa, what on earth? Like, that's mad. Like, I was looking at this most beautiful view, most beautiful thing. I didn't even really believe that God existed, but here he was speaking to me. Mad. And then I decided that after that moment, I was like, right, I've got to just even check this out. Like, how do I even know what this is? What is this all about? And I remember on my way to the college or the school that I was going to out in Canada, I would drive past this church on the way, and it was called the New Life Christian Centre or something like that. I was like, that's what I need. I need a new life. If there's anything I want, that's it. So I thought, I'm going to go there. And I did a little bit of research online, and I saw that they had an evening service at 6:30, something like that. I was like, yeah, hopefully there's not many people there. I can just go and check it out. And if I don't see anything, if nothing happens, then at least I've given it a go. And I remember going there, and I was like so scared, and I lied to all the people that I lived with because I didn't want them to know. And I said, I'm just going to meet some friends from my school, but really I was going to this church. And I got on the bus and I went there, and I was just in me. I was like, do I really want to do this? I was so scared for no reason. And I went to the church, and I remember getting there, walking inside the building, and I just collapsed. Honestly, I don't know what happened, but I just collapsed. And there was this old man there. Oh, I didn't have a clue who he was, but I just collapsed into him and just started bawling it. Like, I was like bawling it. And he was like, I remember him saying like, what's up, what's wrong? And I said, I just need this. I don't know what it is. I don't know who you are. Like, I just need this. And he said, pray with me. And I was like, okay. And he prayed this prayer, and he was saying, like, invite Jesus into your life, invite him into your heart, give him everything. So I did. I was like, okay, Jesus, you want this? You want me? If you're real, here I am. Here's my life. And I just kept crying and crying. And I remember because I used to go when I was younger, I used to have like some idea of what church was like, and they used to sing songs. And I remember going into the main bit of the church, and there were some songs on some words on the screen, and they were singing some songs. And I went and stood right in like the back in the middle, and I was just on my own, and I just started to sing the song. I thought, why not? Didn't really sing much, still don't, but I started to sing the song, and as I did, my eyes started to close. And like I've been on ecstasy, I've done some class A drugs, so I've felt like these feelings of these real highs, and I've experienced some synthetic highs, like they make you feel good, but it's so synthetic. It's not real. It's not real. It's just the chemicals in the substance. Whereas when I was in this church, I closed my eyes, and I was hit with this wave of, it was like electricity, but it was like, it hit me on the top of the head. It was like a physical thing. And it went from the top of my head all the way to the bottom of my feet, over and over again. And it was like liquid love. I can't describe it any other way. And I remember just crying and being so overwhelmed by this, whatever this was. And I can remember in the moment being like, well, what about all the mistakes? I love you. I could just hear the voice, that same voice. I love you. You're my son. Welcome home. I love you. I love you. I just kept on saying that this voice loved me. And I left that day a different man. Like, completely different man. I stopped since that day, I've been completely free from drugs, from all that stuff. Like, I remember after I just started to spend time with God. Didn't really know how. I just started to pray in my room when no one was there, no one was looking, and I started to read the Bible, and I started to ask questions, and I didn't understand it all. Like, I still have doubts. I was like, this is crazy, but that experience and how much I changed was incredible. I became such a different person. I became a new person. Like, the old was gone and the new came. And that's exactly what Jesus came to do. And there is so much confusion around Christianity and church. I personally don't feel like the church has painted itself a very good picture a lot of the time. You know, I think it's become more associated with rules and regulations and having to do certain things, like judgment, criticism. Man, that stuff's just such a load of crap. Like, Jesus didn't come to set up a new building or a new system. He came to destroy the systems and destroy the buildings. He came to bring life, and life in its fullness. And he came to set us free. And the cross is not a demonstration of an angry God. It's not a demonstration of a judge and a bad, malicious being. The cross is a demonstration of God's love for you and for me. And I never realised that. Like, I remember in primary school, we used to sing some songs. I went to like a Christian primary school because my mum wanted me to go there, and we would used to sing some songs. And like, as a kid, like, thinking about this man on a cross, like, what's that got to do with you? But Jesus came to set the whole world free from sin and destruction and chaos. And sin's not like just this bad behaviour, you know. It's not like, you know, sometimes we can associate it with, you go to the pub and you sin, you know, or you go, like, it's almost become a bit of a fun thing. Like, I'm just going to go and sin. It's not anything like that. Sin is a cancer in the human soul that keeps us from love. It's all about preservation, selfishness. Everything about selfishness is a product of sin. And if you trace anything that humanity or anything that anyone does wrong, you can always trace it to selfishness, pride, ego, narcissism, all this stuff, because people are trying to satisfy their own soul. And that's sin. And Jesus came to set us free from that. He came to bring a new way and a new, completely new way, where it's all about love. He came to heal the sick. He came to set captives free. He came to bring life and light and hope to the world. And that's exactly what we need now. I can't think of a better message right now for the world. You are loved. You are chosen. You are set free. You are healed. You are delivered. There is so much chaos going on in the world right now. And none of it is because of God. None of it is because of God. We live in a world that is destroyed and tainted by sin. It was once whole, but sin broke it and tore it apart, and we're experiencing the brokenness and all of the ramifications of that. But what Jesus did on the cross was bring wholeness and a new way that we can live, free from guilt, free from shame, free from hurt. We don't have to be in pain anymore. You know, we don't have to be in death and all that stuff. And he's brought that into my life. And I want to share that. I want to share that with the world. I believe that we're going to walk into, with COVID and stuff like that, I think there is an end to COVID, but what it has shown is that there are systems in this world in place that cannot handle certain things. We're not as safe and secure as we thought. And the only security, the only true security that we can really find is going to be in Jesus. Yeah, I'm waffling now. I'm just waffling on, but I'd love it. I'd love to, if you want to connect, please connect. If you want to chat, please chat. If you want to ask questions, please ask questions. I'm really open to all that stuff. I don't want to debate. I'm not a debater. I don't want to argue. I haven't done this to if you don't believe me, fair enough. I honestly don't mind. If you want to go your own way, please go your own way. I'm not trying to twist people's arms. I'm just sharing a bit of my story. So feel free. Don't know what the next video is going to be. I don't plan it, but we'll see. But thanks. If you've made it this long, flipping out, 26 minutes. I can talk, can't I? If you've made it this long, congratulations. Send me a message. I'll send you some Haribo in the post. Take care. Speak to you soon.